Bleu Taylor should not be coaching bodybuilders. He should not be prepping athletes. He should not be advising anyone on what to put in their body or how far to push it. Bleu Taylor should not be involved in the sport in any capacity. I'm going to advise every single person watching this against using his coaching services because he is careless, he's dangerous, and he has no idea what he's doing. I have proof to say that. My husband died under his coaching. My husband, Stephen Balderrama, died on June 3rd, 2023, 3 weeks out from a bodybuilding show while being coached by Bleu Taylor. Bleu had just posted him as a client spotlight, and then after Stephen died, radio silence. Not a post, not a text, not one acknowledgement that his athlete just passed away. Bodybuilders die doing the sport. Not occasionally, not rarely, but regularly enough that when the community sees it, they have a script for it. Somebody dies and they post a black and white photo, and then everyone says, gone too soon, or heart attack, PEDs, and then their prep continues, and the sport continues. And the NPC and the IFBB, they don't care at all. And nobody asks a single structural question. When the questions come, they're aimed at the mechanics, the drugs, the diet, the pre-existing conditions, anything except for the sport itself. This is the only sport where at the top level, drug use is not an edge, it is not cheating, it is the entry fee. You cannot compete without it. It is the foundation. There are no guardrails. There's no governing body that will put an athlete, pull them off stage for medical reasons. There's no blood work required, no screening, no scope of practice for a person that's directing your pharmacology. There's no licensing body for prep coaches, which means there's no board, no credentials, no continuing education, no mechanism by which anyone is removed for causing harm. A person with no medical training whatsoever can direct your hormones, your diuretics, your water and sodium manipulation, your food intake during the exact window where your body has the least margin for error in your entire life. And if you die, they get to keep on coaching. There's no concern for the athletes who fall to the wake of the sport. The pageantry continues. Since 2023, that I know of, there's been 2 deaths that have occurred backstage during a bodybuilding competition. And did they stop the show? No. They just ushered them out back in an ambulance. When a bodybuilder dies, everyone screams heart attack, heart failure, cardiac event. But that is not always how it goes. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's agonizing. Sometimes there are warning signs broadcasting themselves for weeks in plain view to everyone around the athlete. Complete exhaustion, feeling faint, actually fainting, sleepless nights, body temperature that you cannot regulate, not being able to stand up from a chair without your body failing you. But here's the trap. Every single one of these things I just listed is considered a part of prep. That's the design of the sport. To get to the stage, you have to override your own alarm system. You have to be told that exhaustion means you're working hard, that being cold means you're lean, that fainting means you're dialed in. The physiological state required to finish prep is the identical state that makes you miss organ failure and call it fatigue. This is why athletes are structurally incapable of being their own safety mechanism. This is where the coach is supposed to stand as the alarm in the room. That is their job. That is the entire justification for their role existing. You are supposed to be the one person in this equation that's able to see the bigger picture when your athlete cannot, because your athlete is blinded by the goal and you are not. For my husband, his heart was actually the last thing to give out on his body. Sequelae of organ failure. That was the medical explanation for Stephen's death. It did not all happen at once. It unfolded in stages, and it unfolded in front of people, myself included. His liver went first. Your liver cleans your blood, it balances your fluid, and it makes factors that help you clot. As it failed, toxins began to build up and fluid began leaking out of his vessels into his tissues. And his skin went gray and yellow, and he swelled, and he started to bleed internally. And then his kidneys took over the work that they were never meant to carry, and it overwhelmed them fast. His electrolytes went out of balance, his blood pressure became unstable, and that's why he couldn't stand up from a chair without his body faltering. His heart was last. Pressure falling, circulation in overdrive, resting heart rate near 100 just to keep him upright, but it wasn't enough. He went down in the middle of the night in our bedroom on June 2nd, 2023. The fluid that had been building up inside of him, it came out onto the floor. The night that Steven died, his blood pressure was critically low. His heart rate was dangerously high. And Bleu Taylor, his coach, Bleu Taylor's recommendation? No stims tomorrow, and I want you to have a cheat meal tonight. Blood pressure through the floor, heart rate through the roof. Coach's recommendation, Bleu Taylor, no stims, and a cheat meal. There was nothing that could have been done to save my husband's life the night that he actually died. By the time that he went down, he would have needed a liver transplant weeks earlier to survive. No emergency room visit changes that. But what needed to be stopped was actually happening internally for weeks, and it was visible. And the window where it was survivable, that is the window where a knowledgeable coach does the one thing that they're supposed to do. Recognize that what they are looking at is no longer theirs to manage, and they tell their athlete to go see a doctor. They don't tell them to adjust, not to push, not to have a cheat meal, but to seek medical attention. Knowing where your competence ends is the most basic obligation of anyone advising someone else's body. Nobody's asking a prep coach to diagnose organ failure, nor are they asking them to notice something gone wrong beforehand. But what I'm asking is for you to have the basic knowledge to know when to stop. And if you're not in this world and this doesn't make sense, let me explain something to you. In bodybuilding, the coach's word is scripture. Whatever is said in that check-in is what gets done. The athlete doesn't negotiate it, they don't second guess it, and in most cases they don't seek a second opinion, and that is the coach-athlete bodybuilding relationship. It's the entire sport. And what I want to be very clear is that even as Steven's wife, even as a doctor of physical therapy who knows anatomy, who knows physiology, and I knew all of the compounds that he was taking, I couldn't have stopped him. I tried many times. The authority in that room didn't come from me, it came from his coach. That's where the power actually sat. So if you hold that position as a coach and you cannot recognize when a body in front of you has crossed the line from stressed to failing, you should not be coaching. Let me be precise, because I don't want any confusion about what I'm trying to say and what I'm not. I am not saying that Bleu Taylor killed my husband. But what I am saying is this. Bleu Taylor is not a responsible coach. He's not a licensed medical professional. And he does not possess the basic knowledge required to recognize when a person in front of him whose body is failing to act to save their life, even when the warning signs are unmistakable. I'm saying that Bleu Taylor should not be trusted with anyone's prep, because prep is not programming. It's the management of a human body in a deliberately compromised state. And if you cannot recognize when that body has crossed the line from stress to dying, you are not qualified to hold that responsibility. This video is my protest against Bleu Taylor's participation in the bodybuilding community at large. I also want this video to serve as a warning that this sport actually kills people. Not hypothetically, not rarely, it kills people right now, and it is killing them every single day. The blindness of those stage lights can consume you and everything in your life if you let it. And if you think you are immune to this, you are a fool. You are not the exception. Steven was not the exception either. I'm not asking you to stop bodybuilding or to be against it, but what I'm asking for is smarter participation in the sport. Get your blood work done comprehensively. Get it read by an actual physician. Hire a good coach, one who doesn't ignore red flags, one who doesn't think that fainting is a part of prep or that your heart rate racing at 100 is okay and just tells you to get a cheat meal. Recognize when your body is asking for help. If the person coaching you tells you to push through these symptoms, that is the single clearest piece of evidence and information you will ever need about their competence. Your life is worth more than the opinion of someone sitting behind a judging panel. It is worth more than validation on social media, and it is worth more than a trophy. If you've gotten anything out of this video today, or you care about me or my husband's passing, please acknowledge it by sharing this video. Thank you very much.